Okay, this is probably like the worst lighting possible, but I have to do the review on Ready Player One because I finished reading this. I don't know why it looks so angelic, but this is the book. Why does it look like that? I don't know why it looks like that, but oh, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, so I just finished reading Ready Player Two as well. So I read this last week and it was really, really good. It is like, honestly, like 97-98% different from the movie. And when I watched the movie several years ago when it first came out in theaters, I'm so grateful I saw that in theaters, by the way. I didn't know how different the book was going to be. Like, it's so vastly different. And there's a lot of things that the book does good that the movie doesn't, and there's a lot of things that the movie does good that the book doesn't. So I'm kind of gonna rant between, well, not rant, but I'm kind of gonna compare between the two media forms, because this one is very like retro video game focused in the novel, and the movie is not really retro video game focused until like the very last what's it called, challenge, when they play adventure. There's so many different things. Okay, so I really okay, let me just tell you what I really like about the book. I really like that the book is unique and different, and it's not like anything I've ever read before. It's like like the only way you'll like this is if you enjoy video games, if you like science fiction, if you like adventure, and if you like fantasy, because this is all of that into one. But book two is even more fantasy and more futuristic than this one. But anyways, so this one does really good on that, on the fantasy and the sci-fi, whatever. Even if you don't like video games, as long as you can tolerate kind of like the idea of being in a video game or playing video games, if you can tolerate that, then you would probably like the book. Never once did I get bored with this one or the second book. I didn't get bored with the movie either. But what this is focused on is a lot of the video game retro aspect of it, and how much Jim Halliday loves basically every old video game in the world. So what the movie does really good about the first part of the book is that the book focuses a lot on him going to school, and while he's like in classes and stuff like that, he's plugged into the Oasis. He's going to school virtually, obviously, in the Oasis while he's living in the stacks, like you saw in the movie. So while he's doing that, he's kind of doing other things in the Oasis at the same time that he's going to school. They're all trying to find the egg. It takes like several years for them to like even have one of the keys. It's the copper key, the jade key, and then the crystal key. So, and then they have gates too. So then you have so it's even harder in this than the movie. You have to get the key, and then you have to unlock the gate. So it's kind of like 6 different like levels that you have to beat to get the egg. And so with the movie, what the movie did really good was the racing scene. That never happened in the book. That's very visually done well in the movie, and I really love that. And here he has to play, he has to go inside the Tomb of Horrors. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons thing. It was one of Halliday's favorite games. And so this is much slower in regards to that, to like getting the first key. So I prefer that. I prefer the movie with that. And then, you know how he gets the lucky quarter that keeps him alive in the movie? I like how he gets it in this. It's much more like authentic. He gets it by playing a perfect game of Pac-Man. He plays, I think it's like 257 levels or something like that, and he gets like a perfect score in all of them because, you know, he's Wade Watts. He's like the gamer of the universe, basically. And so the way he gets that quarter is by winning a perfect game of Pac-Man, and then that quarter ends up basically saving their lives towards the end of the book, when Nolan Sorrento like ruins everything. What else can I say? What I don't like about the movie is that the way that Artemis just literally like sacrificed herself, kind of like a dummy, to go to hijack the IOI people and from the inside, you know what I mean? Wade did it way better in the book. So what happens in the book is he creates like a false identity and transfers his fingerprints and his like all his information to this false identity, creates like a credit account, and then like goes really behind on it. And then the people, I think the car just like stopped. And then the people just, the IOI people come to get him from the apartment that he's living at, because throughout the book he ends up earning sponsorships and money because he won the first key and everything, and so now he's like the face of the game, kind of. So they take him from his apartment, and he's now an indentured, what do they call them? He's like an indentured something. But he's basically like in jail, and he has to like pay off his debts, which realistically like he's never going to pay them off. And so he hacks into the system because he had bought on the dark web, some passwords for previous IOI users. And sorry, someone was just driving by. And so that's how he gets hacked into the system. And then Nolan Sorrento literally uses and then the guy from the movie, the apprentice or whatever that Nolan Sorrento has in the movie, that character does not exist at all. The guy that's like 99th level or 100th level that's helping Nolan Sorrento get to the egg, the one that's like keeping an eye on Wade, he is not in the book at all. He just gets help from the IOI team, the Sixers in the book. And I'm like, what is that? There's like birds up top. Oh my god, no. Those birds, literally, leave me alone. So that's not in it. They use the orb of Osuvox, the orb of Osuvox, to create that force field around Castle Anorak. And it just made me so emotional, like in the movie when like the test was that Wade was not supposed to sign that contract, because that was the greatest mistake that he ever did back in his real life. And so it was just like heartfelt. And then in book 2 we see that James Halliday was actually not a good guy at all. He was actually like a lunatic and crazy. But I can't wait to get to that one. I wanted to talk about it right now, but I just don't have the time. But what else happens in this? What else happens in this? Yeah, so Wade hacks into the system. He frees himself. It's it's so much better in the book than it is in the movie. That whole concept of hacking into the IOI. They have a huge fight in the end, but in the movie it's done way better. They don't have like I think the issue too is like the copyrights of like which ones they were able to obtain and which ones they weren't. So like Chucky, and then like the Iron Giant and Mechagodzilla, all these kind of copyrights, like it's done much better in the movie than it is in the book, because it's visually done better. And then they do use the Cataclysm to completely destroy like the entire like environment, but then that's where the quarter comes in, Wade's extra life. It's just done better in the book. A lot of things are done better in the book than in the movie. But I watched the movie literally the day after I finished reading this, and I really enjoyed it. I really recommend you guys read this book if you like fantasy, science fiction, adventure, what else? Like futuristic type of stuff. because this takes place in the year, what, 2044. So I really, really enjoyed this. This was done in a way, I don't know, in a way it was done better than the movie, but lots of the visual things about the movie was done better than the book. Does that make sense? So I also liked that The Shining, I like how The Shining was done in the movie. This had nothing, The Shining was not in the movie at all. I mean, in the book at all. So none of that was included in the book. There's just so many differences, you guys. And it's just like, I feel like the journey of it is done better in the book than it is in the movie. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying one is better than the other, but there are pros to one form, and then there are pros to the other, and then there's also cons to the other, and there's also cons to the other. Does that make sense? So I don't prefer one over the other. I just really, really enjoyed both, and I kind of see why certain things were done, but I also don't see why certain things were done. And apparently Ready Player 2 is already getting filmed and is in the works of getting released. So hopefully that comes soon. Okay, I don't know what else to say, but I really appreciate this book for being unique and different, and this is what I need. I really don't like to keep rereading like the same type of stories over and over, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed this, and I love the world. Like, I felt even more immersed in the second one, and I think my book 2 review is going to be even better than this one, because this one's kind of already fading in my brain. It's already been like 2 weeks. But Ready Player 2 is fresh in my head, so hopefully I'll have that soon uploaded. So Ready Player 1, this is the spine, and then this is the back, and then this is how it looks. This is how the inside looks. This is like how the chapters look. You can see the font. This is a paperback. Okay, bye guys. Have a great day.